up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today there is some pretty significant news regarding the Green Lantern series for HBO Max. It was announced a couple of years ago, and we haven't really heard or learned much about this show. So there's a pretty big development in the show. It's going to completely be like starting over from scratch. HBO Max's long gestating Green Lantern TV series is changing gears. The drama that has been in the works since late 2019 will now focus on John Stewart, one of DC's first black superheroes. This is big because when they announced the little bit of information about the show a long time ago, John Stewart's name was nowhere to be seen, and it made a lot of fans question why wouldn't they include John Stewart in a series about Green Lanterns that includes several Green Lanterns, and why wouldn't that even be mentioned when you're marketing for a Green Lantern series? Didn't really make any sense. The writer, who also had a script finished for 8-episode season, also left because of the change in leadership, and so that was also significant. It says the live action series from executive producer Greg Berlanti, who is very familiar in the DC live action world, was to originally have revolved around Guy Gardner and Alan Scott, and had already cast Finn Wittrock and Jeremy Irvine as the respective Green Lanterns. We didn't really know much more about the show besides that. And I think it was also supposed to be different decades, or if I remember correctly. There was hardly anything that we knew about the show. With DC Comics topper Walter Hamada's exit, a decision was made to start over and build the show around John Stewart, the character who first appeared in the early 1970s and was modeled after Sidney Poitier. So I think a lot of fans are going to be very happy with this. I think it's a good decision because, again, why wouldn't John Stewart's name be mentioned anywhere when making a Green Lantern series? He's a lot of people's favorite Green Lantern. It would make a lot of sense to include him. We've never had a live action version of Green Lantern, which we almost did, which I'll get to in a moment. It also says the HBO Max take is Berlanti's second stab at the world of Green Lantern. He previously penned the screenplay for the 2011 DC-produced Ryan Reynolds star. So he was also involved with that movie, and you probably recognize his name from the CW series, all those CW shows as well. When HBO Max announced plans for Green Lantern in October 2019, Berlanti described it as the biggest DC show ever made, with plans for this series to go to space. Because, of course, you have to have, you have to have all these, you have to have an intergalactic element to a Green Lantern series. So the article also says that it was going to have a huge budget, like $120 million. So it's going to have a very large budget. It seems like they were really going to try to put a lot into the production value, the quality. But again, people were constantly questioning or wondering, why would you not have John Stewart? And the article also mentions, this is very interesting, that John Stewart was off the table to producers. Why was he not even be considered? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you not even consider using John Stewart? Which also makes me question, back when Zach was kind of sharing about wanting to use John Stewart, and originally for the end scene, where instead of Martian Manhunter, it was supposed to be John Stewart talking to Bruce. Still happy to see Martian Manhunter, but Zach originally wanted to use John Stewart, and he shot that scene in his driveway. We've all seen the behind-the-scenes pictures. Thankfully, Wayne T. Carr eventually finally got to share this image with us. So that's what Zach wanted to do. But the studio, the old leadership, was hard no. They didn't even want to budge on that because they told Zach, we have plans for him. And when Zach was talking about this, he was like, what? When? When? You had all that time that his movie was never supposed to come out. The Snyder Cut was never supposed to come out, right? You could have done something with John Stewart then. And in 2019, when they kind of shared that they were going to do this Green Lantern series, that wasn't even close to when the Snyder Cut was going to come out. So it's why? I mean, you didn't even mention his name in the Green Lantern series. Even if they did want to use him in the series, they could have cast someone else to play John Stewart. They didn't have to be oh, well, we don't want to use Wayne T. Carr, so you can't use him. No, they could have used their own, live action version of Jon Stewart in the show, and then Zach could have had Wayne T. Carr in the Snyder Cut. Why couldn't they have done that? But no, they just didn't want him to use Jon Stewart, and I think part of it was probably because they're probably like, no, because if Zach has, this version of Jon Stewart, that's all the fans are going to want, and they're not going to want anything we have to offer them, which, yeah, they're not wrong if that was their thinking. But it's obvious that they did not have plans for Jon Stewart. Because A, like I said, they could have done something with him long before the Snyder Cut was even going to have a chance at coming out, or they could have still used someone else to play Jon Stewart in the series. You don't have to use the same person if they didn't want to. But now, of course, because the focus of the series is shifting to Jon Stewart, which I think is a great decision, now fans are like, use Wayne T. Carr. He's right there. Use Wayne T. Carr. I think it would be really cool if the new leadership was at least open to seeing this, like watching the scene that Zach filmed with him. I hope Wayne T. Carr has at least been able to see something that Zach filmed. But it would be really cool if they were at least open to the idea of, watching that or considering it. Speaking of the leadership, this decision was prior to, this doesn't have anything to do with yesterday's news about Peter Safran and James Gunn leading DC films now and TV and animation. It has nothing to do with that because they don't even start those positions until the 1st of November 1st. So this was made because Walter Hamada was leaving. They already knew that obviously they knew Walter Hamada was going to leave. They're making decisions that would, become public news after Walter Hamada's exit from Warner Brothers. So they were already this doesn't just happen yesterday, this decision, because it's public today. Obviously, they've been making these decisions leading up to Walter Hamada leaving. And I think that fans would be a lot more interested in a Green Lantern series that not only includes Jon Stewart, but is focusing on him. That's a good change for this show, because if you're going to spend that much money on a Green Lantern series and you don't have some of the favorite Green Lanterns, nothing against the other people, and I think Finn Wittrock probably would have done a perfectly fine job, but how are you not going to include like one of the favorites that's never had a live action interpretation either? And I don't understand why it would completely be off of the table, like it said in the article. Very strange. So it will be interesting to see where they go with this now that it's focused on Jon Stewart. They're completely starting over from scratch with the show. And I think it will definitely be more interesting to fans and make fans more excited to have a Green Lantern series. So, of course, it would be really cool if they used Wayne T. Carr, but I don't know if that's an option. But like I said, since he had the chance to film a scene with Zach, it'd be pretty awesome if they at least considered looking at it and seeing if it's something that he would be interested in, if it would work for what they want to do with the show. It'd be really cool if they at least considered it. Because he didn't get the chance to show anybody, only he and Zach and the people that were there know what happened in that scene, how that scene went down. And it would be really cool if he got the chance to show how he would really like to play Jon Stewart and get the chance, it would be cool. It'd be really cool. So very interesting. Very interesting. I think it's a good decision, and I think fans will be happy with this now for the Green Lantern series. So definitely wanted to share that today, and I'm sure there will be a lot of to talk about after Henry Cavill's appearance tonight with the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. Can't wait to hear him talk more about all of that exciting stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Check out the links in the description, and don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of the support and new subscribers, and I'll see you guys soon.